Let's make some brownies. Using one of my favorite cookbooks. I'm using this cookbook, a Hershey's Cocoa Cookbook. I love this book. It's from 1979. I use it often. Let's get started. First, we're going to wash our hands and then preheat our oven to 350 degrees. Next, we're going to grease our pan. This pan is 8 inches by 8 inches square. Let's rub some butter. Be generous. So I set our 8 by 8 inch pan that's been greased to the side, and I've gotten a medium bowl. We're going to start with some dry ingredients. 1/2 cup of flour. That goes in the bowl. Next, we need 1/3 cup of cocoa. Let's see, this one is 1/3 cup. I'm using Hershey's cocoa, just like my cookbook suggests. I'm going to use a spoon to put the cocoa into my 1/3 cup. And just a reminder, this cocoa might smell good, and it might seem like a good idea to taste it, but it isn't sweetened, so it doesn't taste the way you'll expect it to. We also need 1/4 teaspoon of salt and baking powder. This is a 1/4 teaspoon. It's very tiny. That was salt. And now we're going to put in some baking powder. Scoop it up and make sure it's nice and flat. Now let's just mix those up with a little whisk so that they're nicely combined and ready for when we need to add these to our other ingredients. Now I've gotten a larger bowl to start mixing the other ingredients. We're going to start with 2 eggs. And we're going to beat these together. I'm using a fork. You could use a whisk or a spatula, whatever you choose. This is just what's most comfortable for me. I've beaten my eggs, and my recipe says to gradually add 1 cup of sugar, and I have my vanilla. So I'm going to slowly add this in, but not all of it, and continue to mix. Until I have added about half of this sugar. Now I've added about half of the sugar, and I'm going to put in my 1 teaspoon of vanilla. This smells so good. Now I'm going to mix that. And continue to add the rest of my sugar. Our recipe uses the word gradually, so we need to make sure that we pay attention to that and do things gradually, slowly, and a little bit at a time. The next thing that the recipe calls for is 1 stick or 1/2 cup of melted butter. Now this we need to add in gradually, because if we put the hot butter in too quickly, you might end up with scrambled eggs. So let's try this. I'm going to keep my spatula moving as I slowly add the hot melted butter. Seems to be doing okay. I'm trying very hard to be patient and add this slowly. So I've slowly added my 1/2 cup of melted butter. Oh, and my eggs look great. See? That patience paid off. The recipe says to add the dry ingredients to these wet ingredients. So let's do that. I'm using another measuring cup just to help me work it in gradually. It seems like this recipe is about patience and taking your time. That's a good thing. Sometimes it's nice to slow down a little bit and do things more slowly. That way you can appreciate each step. That beautiful yellow color of the eggs and the sugar. That smell of the warm melted butter. And now, this addition of the chocolate. And as we mix it, it becomes velvety and smooth. I love watching the way that it changes and taking my time to be sure I get it mixed up just right. Adding in that chocolate little by little, mixing it up and watching it change. Taking my time and enjoying this process that really smells delicious. So I'm adding in the last bit of my chocolate and sugar mixture, making sure I'm scraping the sides of the bowl with my spatula, and incorporating all of that together. Now, once this is done, we can add in things like nuts or chocolate chips or chocolate candies or sprinkles, peanut butter chips. All sorts of things could go into our brownie batter now. I'm just going to fold in about a half a cup of chopped walnuts to mine. Let's fold those in. You'll see they're in the bottom half of my nut chopper. We'll gently fold those into the batter so my brownies will be nice and walnutty. Walnuts are very good for you. There, those walnuts are folded in well. Now this is going into the pan, our 8x8 pan that we greased earlier. And I'm just going to pour this into that prepared pan. I'm using my spatula to help scrape out the dough and get all of that last bit of goodness into the brownie pan. And I'm going to gently spread this out using my spatula. I want to make sure it gets in all of the corners. I don't know about you, but my favorite brownies are the corner ones. This would be another opportunity to add something in. Sprinkles or peanut butter or chocolate chips on top. It's up to you. There are so many things you can add to a brownie. So let's pop this in the oven for about 30 to 35 minutes. And 30 minutes later, here is our tray of beautiful chocolate brownies.